Infernal blessings. We are back with another video. All right, real quick, couple quick announcements before we begin. Number one, if you want to sign up for a 2024 yearly forecast reading, most definitely you can do that now. I'm doing that until roughly about the first week in February. So you can book yours now. It is extremely busy. I definitely can get to you, but give me a few days or more. You guys are really booking these readings more so this year than the previous few years, which is a great thing. Or if you're interested in any other reading, a Eclipothic Demonic reading, Shadow Work reading, Egyptian Oracle reading, Santa Muerte reading, the whole nine. Or deity reading, any reading that I offer, or if you're interested in a spiritual consultation, shoot me an email at khnum19@gmail.com. If it's a yearly forecast reading, please put that in the subject line so I can see that first, because those are the ones that are heavily booked right now. So definitely put that in the title, and I'll send you an email how to book a reading or a spiritual, consultation. Also, if you want to sign up for classes, all right, go to patreon.com/Baniti, Baniti, tier 3. That's the tier you want to join. That gives you access to the 3 private classes that I do every month. And the group ritual we do together as a group on Patreon. And again, when you join, it doesn't only give you access just to the classes the day you join moving forward. You get access to everything in the archives going back 3+ years. And there's a bunch of ongoing, continual series of classes with new classes being added consistently. And there's ritual work. There's over 39 group rituals. There's individual ritual work for the classes. I go much more in depth and in detail in that Patreon classes than I would on the YouTube. It's really for those that want to take their path to self-mastery to that next level. All right, that's the way to do it. Patreon.com/Baniti, Baniti, tier 3. That will get you in on all the classes, 3 private ones I do every month, only for Patreon members, including a group ritual. Mark your calendars, December 29th, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's a Friday night. I'll be doing the 2023 end of the year 2024 prophecy class, okay? And that will give you access to, if you are a Patreon tier 3 member. If not, you can sign up individually for this class. I'll be communicating messages to you from the spirits, the gods, the goddesses, and the demons. Just helpful information for you to use how you see fit. I'll also be doing some on-the-spot quick readings for those in the room. And again, it's to get us geared and prepared for our 2024 season, okay? Also, if you are interested in, 2 things. Well, let me back up. The podcast, I always forget sometimes to mention that, is available. The Primordial Cast podcast is available on Spotify, all major podcast platforms. Also, check us out on Instagram, Primordial Chaos 9, one word. Facebook, Primordial Chaos, 2 words on Facebook. Okay? And I also upload all the new content to the Facebook page. All right? 2024 in October will be the 7th annual Journey to the Black Addict Conference. Anyway, we'll talk about that as we get later into next year. All right, so what I wanted to talk about as things is winding down. And one thing I'd recommend for you guys, if you go to Starbucks, and I go here and there, but especially during the holiday season, get that peppermint hot chocolate. And then they got this banana bread. It's bomb. Just warm it up a little bit. Tell them to warm it up a little bit. It's a nice little pick-me-up. Little slice of warm banana bread and some peppermint hot chocolate. Good shit. All right, but anyway, it's Luciferian season, Luciferian energy, right? And I wanted to touch on this video and do this at this particular time because for those of you, again, who I've been staying in contact with, some of you guys have reached out. I've been, time permitted, through email, giving you some advice and guidance, as I know some of you are getting ready, today is the 17th, and about 8 days, a little bit over a week, you get ready to do your Luciferian self-initiation, right? And Luciferian energy and philosophy, to me, as I've said before in the past, pretty much sums up, in my opinion, what the occult or the left-hand path is about. right? Luciferian philosophy is about what we call apotheosis, self-mastery, self-deification, which outsiders don't really know what that means. They get thrown off by that. When we say self-deification, becoming a god, self-mastery, right? Some of those terms don't sit well with certain people. One, we don't really care. And I don't say that in a disrespectful way. We don't care because it doesn't affect our mindset and what we got to do. The Luciferian path is about doing for self. It's not about sitting around waiting for people to do shit for you. It's taking on the God mindset. Luciferian philosophy is taking on the mindset of a god or a deity, but not a god or a deity in a monotheistic perspective, or how religious people view God or their concept of God as some unforeseen, spooky force that exists somewhere out there in the sky, a sky daddy, as I've said in the past. Not that type of a God, right? But as we are in the high time of Luciferian season, because we are in the winter solstice, we are in high forms of growth, evolving, regeneration, renewal in the season of stasis and darkness that I've talked about, as we prepare to emerge in what we call the spring solstice, which represents change and growth, right? This, as I told you, and I talk about this when this time of the year comes up, this is a very powerful time of the year on a multitude of many levels, spiritually, mentally. You should be really, again, linked and tapped into understanding yourself on a deeper level. Not wasting your time in unproductive things, because this can be a very distracted time of the year, right? And this is why, as far as a group and doing rituals and things of that nature, I shut down for the month, because I want everybody to focus on themselves for this entire month and starting the new year all fresh. And then, we get right back into it with the, charging right in January. And then we go back in hard. You know what I'm saying? But Luciferian energy is abundant right now, right? If you are a Luciferian practitioner, the thing, and again, I want to make it clear. Sometimes people confuse Luciferian practice or being Luciferian with Satanism. It's not the same thing, people. Is there some connections to a degree, some similarities maybe in the approach and the understanding? Yes, but I want to make it clear. A Luciferian and a Satanist is not the same thing. People automatically equate Lucifer and Satan as a Luciferian practitioner and a Satanist as the same exact thing. It's not. The one main thing that they have in common, they work with the adversary or the adversarial current. But the methodologies and the approaches are completely different. So I want to make that clear, okay? Some people get that confused and twisted, because you got a lot of ignorant ass people that read shit or make just blank statements about shit, or categorize people or stereotype people all in one box as if they know, and that's just not true, okay? So I want to make sure people are very clear. If you see somebody that labels themselves a Satanist, that doesn't mean they're Luciferian, and vice versa, okay? Luciferian practice, because when you're working with the adversarial current in the form of Lucifer, you're working with what we call Lucifer, the light bearer, okay? And in his form of the light bearer, he brings that, as I've said many times before, that light, which is intellect, which is knowledge. The light and the knowledge, or the intellect, is what illuminates a Luciferian. So this is why you will see Luciferians referred to as the illuminated ones. Now, I also want to make the distinction. You got a lot of Luciferian conspiracists, right? Well, isn't the Luciferian and the Illuminati and this and that, isn't that stuff all connected? And the answer is, when you're talking about wealthy people, and I've had to address this in the past, and let me address it again. Don't the Luciferians and the Masons control the world? And the answer is, You have a lot of people or rich or wealthy families like the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, etc. You have people like Adam Weishaupt in Germany who are high-ranking Masons, right, and that started groups or orders, and more of it was politically driven. But because they had influence in some of these esoterical orders, everybody thinks when you say Luciferian or you connect any type of Masonic element to it, that's what we're talking about. No, that's not what true Luciferian practice is. Well, and I keep saying I'm gonna do a video on Masonry. I keep forgetting to do it, but I'm gonna do it. But no, we're not talking about your internet Luciferian philosophy conspiracies. I'm not trying to say that stuff doesn't exist in the form of those wealthy families, because those are individuals that use their positions of power for their own personal greed and gain. But real Luciferian practice and philosophy has nothing to do with that shit. Okay? This is where people get it messed up. And again, people speak out their ass when they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Okay? Because they don't do their research. They just go by anything they read. They make blanket statements with nothing to back it up. Okay? So rather than do that, say this is your opinion. Okay? That's the difference. When you don't have any sources to validate what you're saying, it's your opinion. Or maybe you're making that statement to a degree on experience, but you must explain that. Okay? Because opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one, right? I would hope everybody's got one. I don't know how you would take a shit if you didn't. But anyway. But that's what opinions are. So a lot of people in regards to this have opinions. They're not supporting it with any, backing it up with any facts. So we must be clear on what Luciferian energy, philosophy, spiritual practice is. Luciferian philosophy and practice is not Satanism. They're two different things. Okay? I just want to make sure people are very clear on that, because there seems to be a lot of consistent confusion on that, because I run into a lot of people who, when you talk about Luciferian philosophy, they go, oh, so you're a Satanist? It's not the same thing. Do I utilize satanic practices, satanic magic, high forms of more modern day? I say modern day satanic practice because when you look at when so-called what they're calling Satanism, the Satanic Church, and when LaVey founded this in 1966, that's not the same Satanist or the Satanic Church you see today. Okay? Nobody's walking around, hail Satan, and all, and all that fucking, shit that people get spooked out with. Okay, you gotta remember, LaVey's branch of Satanism, when it came on the scene, it was to counterbalance or address Catholicism and Christianity. Okay? That was the focus. A lot of the rituals were psychodramas presented on addressing that. And if you look at how, for an example, the Satanic Church has evolved, it's completely changed. It's gone beyond that. Just like any spiritual path or system, it grows over time. And the Satanic Church has grown. They deal, it's totally different. If you look at their philosophy, their approach, their knowledge, how they approach the adversary, Satan, it's not the same that you would think it was back in the 60s. But those that are ignorant, that don't know, that have this one-track mind and are confused, still think like people thought back in 1966 and beyond. Okay? We have to understand that the left-hand path, the path of the occult, is a very vast path. It involves a lot of elements. Sometimes people don't understand it and they try to put you in a specific box or category. And we're very fluid on this path, right? We can work with multiple things. We're not restricted. See, the problem is people get frustrated when they can't categorize you and box you. I've told you guys this many, many times over the years. I've explained this to you. Okay? this can be something that, unfortunately, when people create, stereotypes or they box you, it creates confusion for those that might be interested in coming on this path, right? And because we're not limited to working with one specific thing or labeling ourselves, people get frustrated with that. How many times over the years, I've said this many times, when people ask you, it gets a little complex. People ask you, what are you? That's my favorite question. What do you mean, what am I? I'm a fucking person. Oh, what are you? Do you believe in God? See, right there, when a person asks you that question, there's their lack of knowledge and ignorance coming out. There's their fears, their insecurities all coming out. Because, see, what they're trying to really do, as I've said in the past, they're trying to categorize you, put a title on you so they feel comfortable about themselves. I keep telling you guys that's all that shit is about. It ain't got nothing to do with anything else. So once they feel in their mind that they're comfortable, then now they can feel the need like, oh, I know this, that. But when you don't allow them to put you in that box, frustration kicks in. Okay? And because of what we do is so wide and vast, right? As I said, one day we can get up and work with ancient Egyptian vampiric magic. Next day we might feel like doing necromancy. Shit, the next day we might want to be locked in for a few days on Luciferian practice. Hell, shit, the next day we might get up and we might want to work with the Necronomicon. Shit. Hey, I want to get up today. I feel like working with telepathic magic and working with the dark tree. That's the beauty of what we do. We're not ruled or governed by any specific criteria, guidelines, philosophy, rules, regulation. I keep telling people that. So when you're asking a question like that, it's a very, very vast answer. But sometimes people don't hear what they want to hear and they get frustrated. Me, I don't give a fuck, because I'm going to tell you, you guys know me, I'm going to tell it like it is. I don't care who you are, what you are, you're going to get it the way it needs to be gotten. And you're going to determine that. And we've all run into ignorant ass people over the years, right? It happens. But because, and I want to wrap this up, this ain't going to be a long video. I wanted to do this because it was on my mind. I know a lot of you are getting close. There's several of you that I'm communicating with. You guys get ready, preparing to do your Luciferian self-initiation. Again, some of you have reached out to me. I want you guys to really think about this. Get yourself prepared. Get your, intake as much knowledge as you can on Luciferian philosophy. I want you guys to really reflect on these next 8 days leading up to your self-initiation. What being a Luciferian is about, what it really embodies and entails, and what it means for you to travel and navigate on this path and make that commitment, because it's a life-changing commitment. It's a way of life, right? It's not a religion, as I've said before. None of this stuff is a religion, contrary to what people on the outside might think, because they don't know no better. It's not a religion, right? It's a commitment to a particular way of life, a particular mindset. The best way I can sum up, once you are really engulfed in Luciferian practice, it's what we call putting on the deific mask and looking through the eyes of the adversary. You become an aspect of the adversary, right? Because this path isn't about worshiping or bowing down to anything. It's about embodying and becoming. That's different, right? That's why we don't worship anything. We don't pray to anything, because that just doesn't make sense, especially if you're a Luciferian practitioner. It makes no fucking sense. But yeah, you get the point. All right, so this wasn't going to be too much of a long-winded video. Got a lot to do today. Again, we got another cold, wet, damp, rainy day. I love it, though. It's perfect for this time of the year. Don't get me wrong. I love the sunshine and I love the warm weather of South Florida, but it's nice to get this break. I'm a seasons guy, personally. I prefer 4 seasons. Fuck the snow. You can have the snow, but if we got some cold weather, I miss that. That's one thing I miss about being up north. But hey, there's always the positives and the negatives. So you roll with the more positives. So it's nice this time of year to get this kind of cold, gray wet, damp weather kind of makes it feel like the holiday season down here. Anyway, I know you motherfuckers up north get bombed with cold all the time, so you don't give a fuck. But yeah, it's always a great time of the year. Yeah, don't forget to get your peppermint hot chocolate. Let me stop promoting Starbucks because they ain't paying my ass for shit. But anyway, again, Luciferian energy, Luciferian season. You know, it's powerful. It's real. Tap into it best way you see fit. You know, work the path. And again, if you are one of those individuals that is getting ready to do your initiation and you're watching this video, you know, hey, I commend you. It's a great journey. Glad to see some of you guys are taking that next step in your spiritual path. It shows the commitment. It shows that you guys really want to do this. It shows you're dedicated. Yeah, on a multitude of levels. It's a great thing, and I wish you guys the best of luck. Not in a spooky way. I wish you guys, you know, I send you guys good Luciferian energy, and going into the darkness and seeking that light, right? That's what we need to do. We need to go into the darkness so we can obtain true light or illumination. That's what a real Luciferian does. All right, other than that, that's going to wrap this video up. I got to get my quick exercise in early today. All right, if you need to reach out to me, khnum19@gmail.com. If you need to book a spiritual reading, a consultation, that's where you want to get at me at. If you want to sign up for classes, everything, the direct link to the podcast, the direct link to the Patreon page to sign up for classes, okay? My email address, my contact email address, all the information you need to reach out to me on any of those levels, all of that is in the description box of this video you guys are watching. All right, I'm going to enjoy the last little bit left of my, again, got to stop promoting for Starbucks, my peppermint hot chocolate before I get into Planet Fitness. Get my workout on. Everything you need is in the description box of the video to reach out. All right, I appreciate you guys. Infernal blessings, and we will talk soon.